Godmothered is the latest original film to hit the Disney Plus streaming service. It stars Isla Fisher and Jillian Bell and is directed by Sharon Maguire. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content like this. Godmothered is a family Christmas comedy focused on an inexperienced fairy godmother in training, Eleanor, who was sent on an assignment to track down Mackenzie, a 10-year-old girl in distress, after finding her mislaid letter. Upon finding her, Eleanor discovers that Mackenzie is now a 40-year-old single mum, still in search of her own happily ever after. Despite the mix-up, Eleanor is determined to give Mackenzie a happiness makeover, whether she likes it or not. After a year of service, Disney Plus finally delivers us their very first original fairy tale feature formed in the mold of Disney classics of the past. Now, I wasn't too sure what to think going into this one. This is a movie that was shot earlier this year. I think they only finished filming this like 6 months ago, so there's been an incredibly fast turnaround to get this shot and edited and ready in time for this Christmas for Disney Plus. But as we have seen with all of the Disney Plus movies so far, these are all produced to an incredibly high quality for what is essentially a television movie. And I have to say, I was incredibly surprised with this movie, and I don't know why I was surprised, because I have been impressed with pretty much everything that has gone on Disney Plus as an original feature so far. This movie is incredibly charming and delightful to watch. Almost everything about this is just filled with this beautifully whimsical soul and heart, that classic Disney heart and soul that you think of when you think of one of these fairy tale films. Now, I have to say this is probably the most original Disney fairy tale feature that we've had for quite a long time, maybe since Enchanted. And if I can compare this to anything, it would be Enchanted, because I feel like it almost has this kind of spiritual connection to that, in that they both kind of come from this same mold, that they are drawing on classic Disney fairy tale features and kind of putting a new spin on them for the modern day. I feel like they are kind of connected with a bit of connective tissue right there. You think back to the last few years of original fairy tale features we've had from Disney, such as A Wrinkle in Time, Nutcracker in the Four Realms. I mean, these were based on original texts, but this one is, because it comes from an essentially original idea, but born from those classic Disney fairy tale stories. This is really I think the most original Disney film that we've had for quite a while. And I think that's really wonderful. And I feel like Disney Plus, I keep saying, is a really great conduit for this kind of stuff. We can get a lot of really great movies like this on here because there's not as much risk as putting something together like this and then putting it in cinemas and then it absolutely flops. And in this respect, it goes on Disney Plus and it can reach a wider audience who can see it without having to go out to the cinemas and spend extra money and stuff to go and see it. And I think these movies can be more successful on this platform in this day and age. I mean, Enchanted, which was released, around 10 years ago, that was a huge blockbuster. It made a lot of money at the box office, but had that been released to cinemas like 2 years ago, it probably would have flopped. And I feel like the same thing would have happened with Godmother. You put this in cinemas, it gets absolutely buried under all of these blockbusters we get these days. And I feel like this is the perfect place for it, and it's just a perfect movie for right now, I feel. This is the kind of movie that we need right now to just have a little bit of cheer, to be able to smile, get that classic Disney heart and soul into us, and just, again, enjoy a really charming and delightful film. This is, of course, as I said, a Christmas movie, and not only does this feel like, a classic Disney fairy tale story, but it also feels like those classic family Christmas movies that we all grew up with. Again, if I had to compare it to anything, it's kind of like maybe Elf. It's got that real whole fish out of water kind of idea about it, where this magical being comes from a magical land to Earth to help out someone who is maybe struggling in their life. It really follows that same kind of formula, but I feel like it does it in this really nice, really Disney-fied kind of way. Now, Elf is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. It's one that I grew up with, and I watch it every single year, some years multiple times, and I can't say that this movie is better than Elf for me because of that whole nostalgic factor, and I love Will Ferrell, and I just think it's one of the funniest movies ever made. But I feel like for kids of today, this movie could potentially go on to be their Elf, essentially. Look, it's not as funny as Elf, but I feel like, again, different times, different audiences. I really do feel like kids of today are really going to connect to this movie, and this is a movie that can go on, and I think will go on, as a Christmas classic in years to come, and I feel like this is a movie that is going to get a lot of repeat viewings year after year after year. It really just has that, you know, that classic Christmas movie feel, that hope, that happiness, and especially in 2020, this year has been, you know, it's been real lows, and we just need some highs to kind of cheer us up through this Christmas season. I feel like this is the kind of perfect movie to help us through that. Now, I said a couple of times that this movie really does come from the mold of those classic Disney fairy tales that we all know and love, and yes, it is one of these modern movies where it does try and update it a little bit, but I feel like Enchanted, it does them the respect that they deserve. It doesn't try to go back on a lot of things of them. This movie really does have the whole idea of the happy ending at the heart, or happily ever after, and so it doesn't really try and subvert the expectations. It doesn't try to go, oh yeah, that was okay for these times, but it's not quite that way these days, so let's do it a little bit differently. I think it does it very respectfully, and it does it really to formula, that Disney formula that we know, and I feel like that's, I think that's quite a nice way to go about doing this. It's not a cynical film, it's a really beautifully innocent, charming movie that is just completely inoffensive, and I'm really happy that this exists, and as I said, I'm really surprised with just how beautiful and engaging and wonderful this movie is as a whole. And at that, I'm happy to give Godmothered 3.5 out of 5. Godmothered is a delightfully charming Christmas flick for the whole family that throws back to the Disney classics of the past with a ton of heart, great humour, and enchanting performances. It's bound to be a hit with the younger ones especially, and without a doubt will become a Christmas favourite for years to come. As I keep saying, I'm incredibly impressed with the original offerings that Disney Plus have been given us, and I think this one is probably the biggest surprise of them all, and really the most Disney film that they have given us as an original so far. Again, I really think if this went to cinemas, it would have got overlooked, people wouldn't have seen it. This way it goes on Disney Plus. It's going to get millions of eyes, it's going to get so many more eyes than it would have got straight away, and it's not going to be one of these movies that is going to go on to be a cult classic. I think it's going to be an instant classic. People are really going to love this one. Thanks again to my wonderful friends over at Disney Plus for providing me with an early screener for Godmothered for the purposes of this review, and thanks to everybody out there for watching. Until next time, take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.